Hey guys, this is Jennifer. This is video 2 in the strategic placement videos. If you've not had a chance to watch the first one, I encourage you to do that first just so that this information makes a little bit more sense for you. Just want to recap, we talked in the first video about how our ultimate goal is to have the 6 legs direct to us, and we're going to talk about how to place, how to get those 6 legs established. But I want to go over with you just a couple of rules that I have for when I'm enrolling new people. So rule number 1 is that you always want to keep family together. You never want to create competition within family. You want to make sure that everybody is set up to work together. So definitely moms, daughters, sisters, cousins, things like that. You always want to keep those people together. My second rule is that you want to group common people together. So if you have a really close group of girlfriends from, let's say, church or work, then you would want to keep those people together as well, just so that everyone can work together and benefit from each other and we're not creating competition. Now, obviously, this isn't going to be a perfect system. You might not be able to do this entirely just because a lot of times our social circles tend to overlap a little bit, but just try to do the best that you can in this area. And my last rule is that I don't ever build a leg for someone. So if I see that someone is really trying hard and sharing and talking about oils, then I certainly don't mind placing some people underneath them, but I'm not going to just fully create a leg for someone. I actually have done that, and it's very difficult because you don't have a lot of help, and it's just, you're the sole responsible person for all those people on that team. And so I really don't encourage people to do that. So we mentioned that, again, you're going to keep hearing me say the 6 leg thing. So how do you do that? I will tell you that the hardest part is identifying those first 6 legs. Once you have those set, then it's easy. But, getting those first 6 legs identified can be the biggest challenge. So I do try to focus, obviously, my immediate goal, which is going to be executive. And so if you'll refer back to the compensation plan, which I'm not really going to go into a ton of detail on here, but these 2 legs right here, I only need 2 legs to get to executive. And so this is where I'm really going to start, focusing my attention. After I get to executive, these same 2 legs are going to also get me to silver. Now, here's really where I need to stress the word balance to you guys. I know it is so tempting to get to silver quickly because we want that Aroma Complete kit, and we hear all the time people talking about how they hit silver in 2 months or if they hit silver in 4 months, and so you kind of feel this, time crunch a little bit. I want to tell you that while it's great, to get to silver quickly, thankfully I did. But what you don't want to do is put all your eggs in one basket and then you're stuck there. So really, I want you to think of it like this. You are going to enroll a majority of your people, your warm market, in your first 3 to 6 months of sharing Young Living. Of course, you are going to have people, kind of stragglers, that come to you later down the road. I still definitely do. But the bulk of my enrollments were definitely in my first 3 to 6 months of sharing. And so, as I continue to share and post testimonies on Facebook and things like that, I do still have a few people every month come to me and say, okay, I'm finally ready. But, the big flow of people happened in those beginning months. This is why it is really, really, really important for you to find balance and spread those people out. So I'm going to show you some mistakes that I made when I was first enrolling. Unfortunately, my upline did not really share with me much information on strategic placement, and so I did make a lot of mistakes. So I want to share those with you so that I can hopefully keep you from making those same mistakes that I did. Like I mentioned, once you get those 6 legs established, then you just want to start balancing that out. Meaning if you have a class, you just want to start, spreading people out if you can. Now, to set up those first 6 legs, you want to find people that love Young Living. You want to find people that are willing and prepared to order every single month, preferably $100 or more, because a leg is not even really considered a leg unless they spend $100 PV. Now, when I first started, I did ask my mom and one of my best friends from college to be a leg for me. I explained to them that we were all using and loving and sharing, and that I was happy to stack some people underneath them to help them as well. And so, if you have a few people like that in your life that you can trust, then you certainly can do that. Again, I don't think it's wise to just pick 6 random people and start stacking. You definitely want to have that conversation with them and make sure that they're aware that you'll be placing people, but that you're kind of expecting them to be doing that, some of that as well. So I want you to write this phrase down: slow to silver, fast to diamond. Okay, slow to silver, fast to diamond. Like what I just mentioned, it's super tempting to get to silver fast, but what I have seen is that people do, and then they're stuck because all of their warm market is stuck in these 2 legs, and they have nothing else to build over here. So when I was first starting, I had mentioned to you that my mom was one of my legs, and I had told her, I'm going to help you, I'm going to stack some people underneath you. And so what I started doing is, when I would have classes or I would have people on Facebook message me that they wanted to buy a kit, I started just sticking people under my mom. And then I even had a friend from college, and I started doing the same thing. I started just stacking people under her. And so what I have found is that both of these legs have a really, really wide front line, kind of like that organic structure that I talked about in the first video. So for example, my mom, she should already be a gold, but she just turned silver because she has so many people on her front line and not enough leg volume. So what I should have done, here's kind of looking back, what I should have done is I should have helped my mom form 6 strong legs on her own, and then I should have started stacking even further down under them. Now, my rule of thumb is that I really don't like to go past level 3 because we only get paid 5 levels down. So eventually it doesn't really make sense for me to do that. But instead of placing all those people on my mom's front line, I should have just focused on finding her 6 and then helping them individually find 6. And my mom would have already, like I said, been a gold. But instead, she's at silver, and that's okay. We definitely are learning as we go. But looking back, if I had it to do over again, I would have definitely structured my legs different. So I do have 6 legs established, and so here's kind of how I do this now. When I have a class, or if I have people who approach me on Facebook that are wanting a kit, is I look at who's at the top, and I try to group the common people or keep family together. So let's say I have a cousin that calls and says, hey, I've been watching several months, I've been watching you talk about oils, and I'm finally ready. Well, I'm going to stick that under my mom because that's family. And let's say I have someone from college that maybe, isn't even still great friends with her, but it might make sense for me to put her in this leg just so that there's that common, if we have some friends that overlap. Now, if I have some stragglers, kind of those random, people that don't really have a social circle that I can stick them in with, that's when I would come over here and start filling in some of these gaps. And again, just trying to create that balance. So if you look at the comp plan, we talked about executive being the first rank that you want to hit. There is no time crunch for you to hit executive. So if it takes you 1 month or 6 months to hit executive, that is fine. Use that time in the beginning to create your balance. Do not at the very beginning start focusing rush on these 2 legs to hurry and get to silver, because then you've got this over here and then you don't have any warm market to stick there. So my suggestion to you is during those first several weeks, months, when you're trying to hit executive, you want to start laying this solid foundation. All right, I know that that's hard. Again, it's so tempting. You want to hurry and get to silver, but don't. Start creating this balance on these 6 legs, because once you do hit executive, then the clock does start. Then you have 6 months where you have to hit silver if you want to get that kit, and of course we all do. So my suggestion would be to lay the groundwork here. And what's going to happen is, as you're adding people to those 6 legs evenly, you're going to start to have Sally and Jane say, oh my word, I love these oils so much. Come teach a class for me. And you're going to start having some growth, and they're going to start sharing. And so these legs are going to start growing, which is going to give you extra volume and